Arcadian Vanguard presents The Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Wednesday, December 4th, 2024. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with last night's Deadline Go Home edition of NXT, broadcast live on the CW from the WWE Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. The show ended with a brawl involving NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez and the women who have qualified for Deadline's Iron Survivor Challenge women's match, including Sol Ruca, Stephanie Vacour, Julia Zaria, as well as Ren Sinclair, who won the last women's qualifier earlier in the show.
Yeah, exactly. This is exactly what it's all about, but remember, you have to get through each other before you can get to me.
Well, they're wasting no time, Book. It's Deadline. Come early. And look, there's Red Sinclair. And look, these 5 women will look to outlast the others in a match that will most likely close the night on Saturday. Who will become the Women's Iron Survivor at Deadline?
Following the brawl, another angle was shot in which Eddie Thorpe was shown unconscious backstage. The suspected attack came after Thorpe had just won the final men's Iron Survivor Challenge qualifier earlier in the night, pinning Lexis King. NXT champion Trick Williams and Ridge Holland confronted each other in a segment moderated by Eric Bischoff, which ended in a brawl between Williams and Holland. Holland got the better of it, with Williams being stretchered out of the arena. In other results, the No Quarter Catch crew won a battle royal to become the number 1 contenders to the NXT Tag Team title. Gigi Dolan beat Izzy Dame, and Carmen Petrovic pinned Nikita Lyons with some interference from Ashante the Adonis. In injury news, Juice Robinson was spotted at the WrestleCade convention over the weekend on crutches, according to an exclusive report from Mike Johnson. The apparent injury has fueled speculation that he sustained a foot or ankle injury during his match last week with Will Ospreay. The injury will keep Robinson out of the Continental Classic tournament, with his place being taken by Commander, according to an announcement from Tony Khan. In WWE news, the company is scheduling the second installment of the newly revived Saturday Night's Main Event for Saturday, January 25th, the week before the Royal Rumble, according to a report from F4W Online. The return of Saturday Night's Main Event is set for December 13th in Nassau Coliseum, marking the return of the program for the first time in 16 years. And WWE held a press event in Los Angeles yesterday at the headquarters of Netflix ahead of the debut of Monday Night Raw on the streaming platform next month. Present for the event was Becky Lynch, who has not been seen on WWE television since her previous contract expired last June. Also on hand were Nick Khan, Paul Levesque, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, and Seth Rollins, among others. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the Wrestling News. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.